The CCP is truly out of money. Their next solution is to add all kinds of extra costs to the living expenses of the people. Recently, ridiculous gas bill became the hottest topic in discussion in China, prompting many to say, what's coming next? Electricity bill increase, maybe the water bill, or the phone bill? Well, recently a local government in Inner Mongolia has decided to add a farmland contract fee to the farmers. If they don't pay, they're arrested. Welcome to China Insider, I'm David Zhang. It seems the CCP is really out of money, and they've come up with new ways to steal from the people. After local governments across China lost their main source of income, which is land lease for real estate development, we've seen increasing wage cuts, salary delays, among other reasons why the local government is out of money. This video shows a local official arguing with a farmer about land ownership, and this took place recently in Inner Mongolia. A county government official has imposed a new contract fee for farmlands. The farmers argue that the third-year ownership rights have not expired, so why are they coming to stop the farmers and attempting to add more fees to their already expensive payments? But the officials keep arguing that the land never actually belonged to the farmers in the first place. But the question everyone is asking now is, why have you not done this before, but you're coming now to seize the assets? So the story goes that this family of farmers had about 800 acres of land, and initially only 18 acres out of the 800 were arable, and the rest were saline alkali wasteland. So the family then spent the last 20 years turning the field into irrigated and cultivated fields for crop growth. Normally, hard work should actually be rewarded by the government. After all, they've just added 800 acres of land to grow crops for the country. How much do you actually think that their contribution meant for the local authorities? None of it. And so it seems that the local government became jealous and demanded an additional 1,200 yuan per acre in fees, or about $165 per acre. So if you calculate that for each household, that's an extra payment of about 1 million yuan, or $138,000. So the local government sent somebody in to collect this fee. Now, there are two reasons given by this local official who started to argue with the farmers. The first reason is basically saying that the farmers are seizing collective resources. They're hogging things. Since the Chinese government owns all land, farmers are technically leasing them. And then once you're slapped with this moving public resource or hogging the public resource charge, it basically means that the situation has become political and that the puny farmers have violated the interest of the biggest landowner in the country, which is the Communist Party. And then there should be thousands of reasons to mess around with these farmers. And the second one, well, the explanation is that the official doesn't know any law. And if they want to truly argue about the legality, well, they should do it with the higher ups. He's just here to collect the land. Now, that sounds like a bunch of bandits doing their thing. Well, the village officials in the interview afterwards with the reporter argues that the contract terms have changed and the contract for the land is no longer valid. And that way they can actually make up new terms to fine these people. And the man that forced the farmers to stop working in the field is a local official for the CCP. He allegedly claims that he doesn't know the law, which is quite funny considering that the internet users later on found out that he was a cop before becoming a village official. And in an article praising his dedication to work, it says that he felt like he lacked the legal knowledge to do the public security work, so he studied hard to overcome that. And then what happened between being a cop to becoming a city official, a village official? Did he just suddenly lose all his knowledge about legal stuff? Well, it seems like power has corrupted him. Before we continue, I want to introduce you to a product that has helped me a lot. This is the Gin X Red Ginseng Extract. It's made in Canada and uses Western red ginseng roots. The product's most immediate effect for me has been more energy and alertness. Some of my friends are also using it and they notice that they're yawning less throughout the day. If you're not a morning person or you need 2 to 3 cups of coffee to wake up, give this one a try for your energy boost in the morning. It's very easy to drink. Just take 2 to 3 drops mixed with water and honey, or you can just do this by putting it on your tongue and chase it with some water. I usually drink about 2 drops in the morning before work and then 1 more in the afternoon if I'm really tired. A long-term use for red ginseng has shown to alleviate fatigue, enhance vitality, and help to strengthen the body against diseases. So check out the product on Blueberry Creative, link in the description below. Our focus today is still on the recent case of the gas bills overcharging in China, and it continues to be the center of attention. Now, in the city of Chongqing, internet users recently reported that their monthly gas prices doubled or even tripled since replacing their gas meter with a new one. After an investigation, the company admitted that they did overcharge the people and that they will try to refund them the extra charges. However, the company was also later found to have registered in Bermuda, and its parent company is actually China Resources, which is a state-owned company with ties chasing all the way back to the 1930s with former Premier Zhou Enlai. China Resources Group, known as the eldest son of the Republic, has a relationship with the party that can be traced back to the red history of China Resources. In 1938, in order to properly keep the funds raised and deliver them to the anti-Japanese front smoothly, under the instruction of Zhou Enlai and Chen Yun, the underlings established a company in Hong Kong, which is to handle warehousing and transportation businesses. Of course, since the decades have passed, it's been handed off to different red families and their factions. Now, registering in Bermuda sounds like it's a way for the CCP family to launder their wealth, stealing from people. No one knows really who is behind the current iteration of this, but it turns out more and more cities have done this to their citizens, aka increasing the utility, but also many of them are associated with the China Resources Group. On April 22nd, a woman in Jiangsu province posted that because her family's gas bill had doubled, she wrote an article calling for a thorough investigation on the gas cost problems. After the article was published, China Resources Gas Company called her and asked her to delete the post. And they also arranged for 4 employees to come to their home and to repair and explain the situation, accompanied by community officials. Now, at first, after the staff explained that the matter was supposed to be resolved, well, it turned into 20 minutes later, the police coming to her house to conduct a home investigation in the name of anti-fraud. So clearly they were being pressured to withdraw the article online. Afterwards, her husband was also talked to by his work company's boss, who asked him to persuade her to delete the article. And finally, she shared this post which begs China Resource Gas to spare her and her family. As the incident further develops, she posted a follow-up and said that she just shared her natural gas bill, didn't expect this response to be so big. And she also didn't want to accept any apology from the company and refused to accept any media interviews. The gas company, she says, only needs to explain why there is a doubling of charges to all citizens, not just her. And but this situation really, let's just put a conclusion on it, right? China is probably going to continue to double charge something or triple charge something or just blatantly rob you, because that's going to become the new norm in China. Just for example, Shanghai has raised water prices for the first time in 10 years, with the highest price increase exceeding 50%. Guangzhou province has released a water price reform plan. A water price supply under new plan has increased by about 34%. And 5 other cities have also increased prices ranging from 10 to 50%. And then for gas, 125 cities and counties in China, including in Shenzhen, Fuzhou, Zhejiang cities, they've announced price increase plans for the natural gas supply. Of course, in Chongqing, we just talked about how the gas meter was speeding up and there's an invisible gas price doubling happening. And the government's response has basically been that the situation is true and we're still doing this. Now, for electricity, Guangdong, Hunan, Anhui, Jiangsu, and other provinces announced that electricity price adjustment plans are on the way and that the provincial power grid transmission and distribution prices will be implemented with the highest increase for about 30%. Now, I've seen a lot of reasons pointing to why this increase has been happening. People are saying that it's because of inflation. But you got to remember, this is the most ridiculous reason because China's in deflation. So that if there is an inflationary price, it's not because it's due to the economy, but it's an artificial increase, the need to generate so-called inflationary prices just so that China can somehow be dragged out of it. And that's the excuse that they're getting. Of course, that's not the rational reason. And some other reasons include they're accounting for decade-long accumulation of lagging volumes, so they have to charge people a one-time huge sum of money to resolve all that has been accumulated over the last decade. But again, none of these explain why there's a sudden need to increase the price when the actual usage and everything else like demands and whatever has not increased. So whatever the excuse they use, it's clearly a pattern that basic living expenses in China are getting more expensive, but not because of the economic side of things, but because of political reasons. Or you could say it is economics because the local governments are out of money. So the excuses are clearly, they're lying. We've seen videos of gas dials turning by themselves or turning really fast when you're using the hot water. We've also seen a video of a man filling up gas at a petrol station. And it turns out he measured that 1 liter only measured 700 milliliters in volume because he actually took a measuring flask to that gas station and he took a measurement. So yeah, in China, the math goes, apparently 700 milliliter is 1 liter. And then when he called the authorities, they dared to claim that it's a national standard. So apparently it's national standard that 300 milliliter is missing. 30% is missing from a liter of the gas, and that's still called 1 liter. That's pretty crazy. So with gas price increasing, everything else increasing, it's prompted internet users to make a new meme. They say that Switzerland has 4 famous watch brands and their distinctive dials: IWC, Schaffhausen, Omega, Patek Philippe, and Blancpain. Well, it turns out China also has 4 famous watch brands and their dials: the water dial, the gas dial, the electricity dial, and the gas pump dial. And each of them is designed to screw you over with overcharging or undersupplying. And I guess the heart of the watch, right, is the movement of the watch. But in China, the movement of the dial is the heart attack of the people. In China, water, electricity, and other products, they're supposedly defined as public service products. And so the purpose is not to make money. That's why government pricing is always quite low, because they use financial subsidies to make sure that people don't have to pay $200, $300 a month to pay for their utilities. Well, at least that was the case until China recently ran out of money. The local governments in the last 10 years or so have been using land leasing and finance to basically make their money. And then local governments had money so they can subsidize these water and electricity with, it's not a big deal, but now because the land lease faucet has dried up, the local government finances are crumbling, and that's why they can't even make ends meet. They're cutting the salaries of government employees, and they're also unable to subsidize companies anymore. So the cost of these companies start to accumulate, and then that forces the government to turn a blind eye to them increasing the prices, and they don't even dare to do it publicly. On the one hand, it comes from the maintenance, renewal, and large numbers of water pipes, gas pipelines, power lines, etc. that needs to be replaced or repaired. And then the other hand, you also have the payments for the wages, for different sorts of things. And so if all of it was relying on a daily operating expense, and that expense amount has decreased or becomes non-existent, well, of course, these companies are going to find ways to charge people. And then the government basically says, we're going to pretend that's not happening until it was found out. And so this video here actually shows that the speed of the dial can be changed remotely, as they complained that yesterday it was running really fast, but today it's running slower. So expect more things to get more expensive in China, and they might not even give you any reason in the future. They're just finding new and creative ways to rob you in China. All right, that's it today for the episode on why China's running out of money and they're starting to double charge people on their basic living expenses. If you enjoy the content, leave a like, comment below your thoughts, and subscribe to our channel. Also check out Jinx Red Ginseng Extract on Blueberry Creative, link in the description. Until next time, bye-bye.